Hi, this is Dilip from Anamika's Academy, and today we are going to learn a very important tense of present tense, which is present simple. Now, when we talk about present simple, there are certain things which are always included. For instance, whenever we want to talk about anyone's habit, we use this tense. Similarly, whenever we want to describe the nature of someone, then also we use this tense. Third is routine. Whenever we want to talk about routine of someone, this tense always comes in handy. And the last but not least is universal truth. So whenever we want to talk about anything which cannot change or which is always right, then also we use present tense, that is the simple present. अब हम ये देखेंगे कि किस तरह से हम इसमें अपने sentences frame कर सकते हैं. Now let's take one example. मैं सुबह में जल्दी उठता हूँ. It talks about my routine, that every day in the morning I get up. So as per our previous discussion, this can be easily talked in this particular tense. Similarly, दूसरा एग्जाम्पल हम लेते हैं, वह रात में काम करता है. ये भी एक तरह से उसकी आदत है. तो यहाँ भी प्रेजेंट सिंपल हमारे लिए काफी यूजफुल होगा और उसकी सहायता से हम इस वाक्य को बना सकते हैं. इसी तरह से अगर किसी की आदत है झूठ बोलने की, तो हम ये कह सकते हैं, तुम अक्सर झूठ बोलते हो. अब अगर हम इन तीनों सेंटेंसेस को देखें तो कुछ चीजें बिल्कुल कॉमन दिखती है. जैसे कि तीनों, ये सेंटेंस भी ता है, ये सेंटेंस भी ता हूं और ये सेंटेंस भी ते हो. यानी कि इस टेंस की पहचान है कि कोई भी वाक्य अगर ता है, ती है, ते है, ता हूं, ती हूं और ते हो से समाप्त होता है, तो निश्चित रूप से वो प्रेजेंट सिंपल का हिस्सा होगा. अब हम ये देखते हैं कि किस तरह से हम इसमें सेंटेंस बना सके. तो उसके लिए हमारे पास बहुत ही पुख्ता स्ट्रक्चर है. And if you look here for positive sentences, we have the structure, subject, followed by do or does, and then the first form of main verb, object, and other words. Similarly, there is another way of making the sentence, which is starting with subject followed by main verb first form plus main verb first form s, es or ies, and object and other words will be similar to the above one. So now we will try to frame certain sentences to understand how we can talk about any action in this particular tense. Okay, so let's take the very first example. मैं सुबह में जल्दी उठता हूं. Now how can this sentence be made? I get up early in the morning. So this is something which talks about my daily routine. Okay, now here, as per the structure, the second one, we have used subject here. Get up is the main verb, which is always in its first form, and then it is followed by object and other words. Now the same sentence can also be made with the help of first structure, like I do get up early in the morning. So here there is only one addition, and that is do. So the meaning of both the sentences remains the same, there are only different ways of saying it. Okay, so now let's take an example where I will be replaced by he. जो हमारा दूसरा सेंटेंस है वह रात में काम करता है. Now let's try to frame this sentence. He works in the night. So here again, in the first example, we did not have any s or es, but here, since the subject has changed and it has become he, that is why this additional s will come with the main verb, that is work, and then it will be followed by object and other words. So this is very similar to this structure that we had discussed earlier, that whenever there is he, she or it as the subject, always the verb will have s, es or is. Now similarly, we can make this sentence using the first structure as well, and that will be he does work in the night. यहां पे थोड़ा सा चेंज आ गया है. यहां पे हमने वर्ब के साथ s लगाया था, लेकिन चूंकि यहां पे डज आ गया है, इसीलिए वर्ब के साथ कोई भी s नहीं आएगा. सिर्फ इतना ही डिफरेंस है इन दोनों में, अदरवाइज दोनों की मीनिंग सेम है. सिमिलरली टेक अनदर एग्जांपल. तुम अक्सर झूठ बोलते हो. नाउ दिस कैन बी made as per this sentence as you often lie. You often lie. Now similarly, this can be said in an alternate way, which is you do often lie. Though they mean the same, but there are different ways of expressing the same thing. Okay, so in short, in present simple, all the activities that we perform as a part of our routine, as a part of our habit, nature, or something which is the universal truth, that will be included. Now let's take some more examples to make it more clear. We have different actions which can be incorporated, and let's take the first one, which is read, जिसका मतलब होता है पढ़ना. Now let's suppose if my habit is to read newspaper every day, तो उसको मैं प्रेजेंट सिंपल की सहायता से इस तरह रिप्रेजेंट करूंगा. I read newspaper every day. So it is basically talking about my daily routine or habit. Okay, I read newspaper every day. मैं रोजाना अखबार पढ़ता हूं. तो निश्चित रूप से वो इसी टेंस का हिस्सा होगा. इसी तरह से सेकंड एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं हम लोग, राइट, जिसका मतलब होता है लिखना. तो इसमें हम लिख सकते हैं she writes letters to me often, जिसका मतलब यह है कि वो अक्सर मुझे चिट्ठी लिखती है. Now here again, as per the structure, she is the subject. That is why this additional s has come along with the verb write. You want to use present simple more and more, सबसे अच्छा तरीका है try to describe your daily routine. For instance, I get up early in the morning. Now here it's my habit, or it's a part of my daily routine. I get up early in the morning. ये मैं रोजाना करता हूं, तो मेरे डेली रूटीन का हिस्सा है. Now after getting up, what is my next action? After getting up, I always have a cup of tea so that I can become fresh. Again, after having a cup of tea, मेरा दूसरा एक्शन होता है go for a walk. Okay, so without fail, I go for a walk. Then once I come back from walk, what's my next activity? Then I take a bath. I take bath. After that, I read newspaper. Once that happens, then I sleep for some time. Okay, now these are certain things which I do on daily basis. Starting, I get up early in the morning. Now here, this is the verb, get up is the verb which is always in the present form or the first form. Okay, similarly in the second sentence, I have a cup of tea. Again here, have is the verb which is in the first form. Third one is I go for a walk. Go is the verb which is in the first form, and then I take a bath. Take is the verb, and finally in the last sentence I sleep for some time. Sleep verb है. तो देखा आपने कि जितने भी सेंटेंस हमने बनाए डेली रूटीन के, उसमें वर्ब का पहला फॉर्म ही इस्तेमाल में आया है. ये बिल्कुल उसी तरह हुआ है जैसे कि हमारा ये स्ट्रक्चर था. सो इफ यू वांट टू प्रैक्टिस सेंटेंसेस ऑफ प्रेजेंट सिंपल, डेली रूटीन इज द बेस्ट थिंग. इसके अलावा if you want to do more and more practice, another thing which you can do is to describe the scene of a movie, because whenever we narrate a story of a movie to someone, we always use present simple. यानी कि उसमें सिर्फ present simple का इस्तेमाल होता है. Okay, so this is the daily routine of myself, which is one part of this list. मान लीजिए हमें किसी की हैबिट को बताना है. For example, a friend of mine gets angry very soon. He is very short tempered. तो मुझे अगर उसके हैबिट के बारे में बताना है तो मैं कुछ इस तरह से सेंटेंस बनाऊंगा. My friend gets angry very soon. So here you can see the verb get is accompanied by s. ये ऐसा इसलिए हुआ because in our structure we had seen that with certain subjects, he, she, it or other third parties, always the verb comes with s. Now let's see when it will come so that we have a clear idea. So if you can see here, third person, he, she, it, this, that, any name, it will always be followed by s or es or ies. So this is how we can make a sentence about someone else's. So today we have seen what kind of actions are included in present simple. Mainly they are habit, nature, routine, universal truth. And we have also seen what is the structure of present simple. Both the structures we have seen, and based on them we have also framed positive sentences for I as well as for someone else. And in our next episode we will see how to frame negative sentences, how to ask questions, how to ask negative questions, how to ask those questions which require certain information, and how to make negative of those interactive questions. So this is what we have done today, and we will carry it forward next. So now we will see how to frame a negative sentence in present simple tense. We already know that in this tense we always talk about nature, habit, routine, and universal truth. If there is something which is not right, that has to be spoken as per the negative sentence structure. Let's have a look at this structure, which is different from the positive structure. Of course, the sentence will start with subject, and this is the portion which is different from positive, because in positive we had two structures. One was with only verbs first form, and second was with verbs first form s, es or ies. So here this additional word do and does will come, and then this not will be added after that, and once they get combined they become don't. So don't is nothing but the combination of do and not. Similarly, we have another category where we will use does along with not, and they will become doesn't. So subject plus don't or doesn't, and then here only the verb's first form will come, and finally we have the object and other words. So this is slightly different from the positive sentence, and we need to be careful so that we make correct sentence. Now, as far as the usage of do and does is concerned, let's see how it will be different for different subjects, especially for I, we, you all, they, those, these names. We always use do. Similarly, for he, she, it, this, that, and any particular name, we always use does. So this has to be borne in mind while framing the negative sentence. So now we will see how to make this sentence using this structure. So let's take the first example. मैं non-veg नहीं खाता हूँ. Now here, as a habit, non-veg नहीं खाता हूँ. So this sentence will be made like this. Since I am talking about my own habit, it will start with I, and as per this I will always come with do, and since it's a negative sentence, not will also come, and this do and not will get combined and it will become don't. So I will write I don't eat non-veg. I don't eat non-veg. If I I have this habit, I will say I eat non-veg. If not, then I will say I don't eat non-veg. So here, this don't is the portion which is additional from the positive sentence. Now let's take the second example. वह झूठ नहीं बोलती है. This is about a lady which comes in the category of she. So this sentence will start with she, and for he, she, it, this, instead of do, we use does. So does will come, and then as we have added not, being a part of the negative sentence, it becomes doesn't, and झूठ बोलती है के लिए we will use lie. So here the negative sentence will be she does not lie. Now if this is to be spoken in positive, we will say she lies, just two words. But because of being negative, this additional doesn't has come. So that is what we have to be careful about while framing negative sentence of present simple. Let's see another example of a negative sentence. Let's suppose my habit is not to take or not to travel by bus. So here I can put it like this. I don't travel by bus, because this is a part of my habit. I don't travel by bus because I use my car. Similarly, there are certain things which are totally unacceptable to us. जैसे कि मैंने एक पिक्चर देखी, एक मूवी देखी और उसमें बहुत वायलेंस था. Now as a nature मुझे वायलेंस अच्छा नहीं लगता है. So I can say I don't like violent movies. I don't like violent movies. But I have a brother who is fond of these violent movies. So for him, I can say he likes violent movies. So this is what we can say in positive. So it is just that additional do not can make it a negative sentence. Now let's suppose I have a mother who does not like to go to the market. So how will I frame this sentence? Since it's my mother, so it will start with she, and since it is she, instead of do, we will have does, and then not. She does not like to go to the market. She does not like to go to the market. वो बाजार जाना पसंद नहीं करती है. So with the help of these negative sentences, you can express your dislikes. Something which you don't want, you don't enjoy. Now another thing that needs to be taken into consideration is the verb. Now in positive, we had two categories. First category, only verbs first form, and second category additional s, es or ies. But here we have verb always in the first form. Let's see that with the help of sentences. I do not eat non-veg. This is the first form. She does not lie, which is again the first form. Similarly, travel, like, and this also like. So in negative sentences we have verb always in the first form irrespective of the subject. Whether it is I, we, you, they, or he, she, it, it's always the first form that will come. So that has to be borne in mind. After positive and negative, now we will learn how to ask questions with the help of interrogative sentences. So we will try to frame some questions, because we do ask questions on daily basis. So we will start with those questions whose answers will lie in yes or no. Let's have a look of the structure. This structure will start with the helping verb, which is do or does, depending on the subject as we discussed earlier, and then subject will come, and then verbs first form as we had in a negative structure, and finally object and other words. So this is how any yes/no question is going to be framed. So let's try to frame some questions to make it clearer. Now here we have a sentence in Hindi, क्या तुम cricket खेलते हो? So we want to know whether the subject plays cricket or not. So as per the structure, it will be, since it's all about tum, that is you, it will start with do, then subject you, play cricket. Do you play cricket? Now this question will be answered with the help of two statements. If it is yes, अगर वो क्रिकेट खेलता है तो बोलेगा yes, I play cricket. But if you want, you can shorten it and you can simply say yes, I do. तो अगर उसने yes, I do कहा, इसका मतलब है हाँ मैं क्रिकेट खेलता हूं. Let's suppose if the answer is in the negative, अगर वो क्रिकेट नहीं खेलता है, so he will say no, I don't. No, I don't. मतलब नहीं, मैं क्रिकेट नहीं खेलता हूं. So you have seen how to frame a yes/no question using you, and how the answer will be given by the person who is being asked this question. Similarly, let's take another example of a different subject. क्या वह स्कूल जाती है? Now this is वह and this is जाती, which means this is she. So for she we always use does. So this question will begin with does she go to school. Does she go to school? Now here also we will have two answers, either yes or no. If it is yes, so as per this first helping verb, the person will say yes, she does. If the answer is no, then it will be followed by she doesn't. So as you see, the subject has changed. Earlier it was you, now it is she, because of which this first word, first helping verb is also different. Now as far as the verb is concerned, here also it will remain in first form irrespective of subject. Whether it is you or she, it is always the first form, that is play and go. Now let's see how to frame a negative question in this structure. That is very easy. If you want to ask any negative question, you just need to put not after do. You need to combine, and that becomes don't. Similarly, does will be followed by not, and after combination it becomes doesn't. And the rest of the structure will remain the same. Now we will see one example to elaborate this. क्या तुम क्रिकेट नहीं खेलते हो? So since the subject is you, this question will start with don't you play cricket? Don't you play cricket? So here we have seen instead of do, it's only don't which has come, because here we have a negative component of this sentence. So similarly, we can make any other negative question using this structure. Now let's take another category of question, which is all about finding facts, collecting information, because there are many questions which cannot be answered in yes or no. So to frame those questions, we always use an additional word which normally starts with what, why, when, which, how, whom, etc. Let's look at the structure, which is not very different from the yes-no structure. It's only the initial part of the sentence will have this WH, which could be anything, what, why, when, whom, etc. And the rest remains the same, do or does as per the subject, verb's first form, and then object. So we ask these questions to find out some information. Let's take the example. तुम क्रिकेट क्यों खेलते हो? Now the question is being asked, why subject plays cricket? Now this cannot be answered in yes or no, because specific information is sought. So to frame this question, we will say, since it is क्यों, why, subject is तुम, so do will come, and then subject, why do you play, which is the verb in the first form, and then the object. why do you play cricket? So here we have seen from the yes no type question that it's only additional why which has come, and that has made it a fact finding question, a WH question. So here the subject has to give the reason for playing cricket. So here we need more information, more facts. That is why we have added why. Let's take another example. वह रोज कहाँ जाती है? Again, the subject is a lady, and this kaha is basically the information regarding the destination of this person. So this can be framed: where does she, since it is she, so does will come, go daily? Where does she go daily? वह रोज कहाँ जाती है? So now we need the information about the place where this subject goes. So that is why we have added where. So with the help of this why, where, whom, how, we can seek more information about any specific action. Now in this, if you want to ask any negative question, it's pretty simple. Instead of do and does, it's don't and doesn't that will come, and it will make that fact-finding question a negative question. So let's suppose if you want to make this question a negative question, you can simply write why don't you play cricket? Why don't you play cricket? So instead of do, it's only don't which has come, additional NT which is nothing but a mark of negative sign, because we are making a negative question, and that will make this question a negative one.